Oh, good afternoon. So looking at the schedule, I'm the basically last presentation between you and the break. So I'm hoping that you can hang on for 20, 30 minutes. Today we'll talk about something which is called human-centric cybersecurity in the idea of digital transformation. Before going into that, I have like my basic questions or my basic question when it comes to this Adriatic Balkans region. Have you ever heard about Forcepoint and who Forcepoint is? Okay, just one hand. So Forcepoint, it's a new company or fairly new company. It was actually founded in January 2016. So next year will be like 4 years old. But it's not that new in terms of technology. Probably you've heard about WebSense. Still the same, or two hands? Three hands. So WebSense was a company or the well-known company for web security, email security, and DLP products. This company was acquired by another big company called Raytheon. Raytheon being the biggest, as far as I know, defense company in US. So they acquired this company, WebSense, in order to bring some of their products to the commercial market. So this is how Forcepoint was created. And after that, we acquired more and more companies. We integrated all their products, and now we have a portfolio around a human-centric security under this, again, fairly brand new name called Forcepoint. Now, let's start with our presentation. So when we are talking about cybersecurity and digital transformation in general, of course, we'll be talking about budgets and money spent on different products, point products, or solutions. Some reports are saying that in the last 7 years, $1 trillion were spent on cybersecurity. Is it a good thing? It's a bad thing? I'm not the one who can tell you that, but looking for what the CISOs have to say is not necessarily something that worked in the long run. 46% of CISOs says that probably they can prevent attackers from attacking their networks. 100% of those CISOs that we talk with, they believe that they will have a successful breach using a phishing attempt or phishing attacks, whatever. And they are happening, and I know real-life examples. Also, enterprises have seen a 26% increase in security incidents despite increasing budget. So basically, this means that you are spending your budgets on, again, security products or security solutions without a real result. Now, if we talk about digital transformation, and this is like a completely whole new discussion, we have something like this. So when we're talking about digital transformation, when we're talking about companies moving to different directions, cloud, for example, this means that more money will be spent on different things. And if we look on the right, it says that cybersecurity or security is still the biggest challenge or the biggest pain point. So the idea is that you have to be in the race for digital transformation, because if you are not in this race, probably you will lose. I mean, not probably, but for sure. It will take time for sure, but you have to be in this race. But still, if you are in this race, you are facing the same challenges or security challenges. So what can you do about that? So we're not talking about digital transformation. We can put everything into like, let's say, 4 pillars. We have the cloud with probably services that you already know, like Office 365, G Suite, Box, Workday, Salesforce, and so on. Then we have data. Data was and still is, or it can be the new oil, meaning that it has to flow, it has to go from one point to another, because that's how your companies are working basically, but you have to protect that data. Then we can talk about infrastructure or network. So basically, if your infrastructure, if your workload moves to cloud, different clouds, your IT department, your infrastructure needs to adapt, needs to work together with the security departments, and again, digitally transform into that direction. And the last one, which is not necessarily important for our presentation today, is basically this, I don't know, the chain of whatever. So basically you have partners, you have distributors, you have whatever things, you have to work with them, you have to collaborate. But again, you also need to protect this, this workforce, let's say. So we'll focus on some of the few things here, but first let's move to this one. So when we are talking about moving or digital transforming, let's say, again we can talk about cloud, data, users, whatever, but we also talk about cybersecurity and securing especially data and especially your employees. Because in the end they are your assets. Looking at, this graphic, probably some of you are in this virtual and app-centric idea. Probably some of you are already in the user and data-centric-ish. But the idea is that we need to focus on users and data. If you are somewhere here, network-centric, you are way behind in this digital transformation race. Why is that? Well, you have your company, you have your physical perimeter, you have the best products out there, you have the best firewalls and so on, but then your employee has a laptop and he's going home. And then let's say that more or less everything is lost. Or you have your employees, they have their personal devices. I'm not exactly sure if the idea of bring your own device worked in that network-centric idea, but still, they have their mobile devices, they can go home, they can access your resources, and again, everything is lost. So, if we simplify this slide, it can look something like that. So today, or the majority of companies are somewhere here in the traditional security. Traditional security means, as you can see probably from the slide, it means to apply policies, to apply security controls in general, per departments, per groups, per the whole company, which can work. I will not argue with that, but you have issues. It will create friction for the, legitimate employees that basically they want to do their job, but they are blocked from doing like a simple task or something like that, so they will get frustrated. And probably malicious employees will find loopholes. They are not allowed to do something, they will try to work around that, and they will do it in the end. Again, you might think that you protected everything, that you blocked, USB drives or something like that, but actually you created loopholes and basically friction for legitimate users. So what is the idea about user and data-centric security? Well, it is better to understand how your employees are working with the data, or with the data in general, and apply one-to-one policies based on their behavior. Users are not like system, ones and zeros, white and black, things like that. Like, do this, block this, do this, allow this, and things like that. They have different behaviors. They can do something right now that they didn't do in the past. That's a change in behavior. By applying one-to-one policies based on their behavior, you can have something like, in this example, 3 different severity groups. You can have something like low severity, medium, and high. If you have a user, or if you have users in general that are just doing their job. Probably they will be in the low security group or low severity, whatever, low security group. They will have some level of monitoring, they will have some level of notification, that's for sure. But if one of them suddenly access your, database with clients and downloads a huge amount of data and tries to upload that to Dropbox or to Gmail, they're the same user basically, but with a different behavior. So instead of blocking all the users with the same policies, why not focus on that particular user and apply different actions to him or her, whatever, to that employee? What happens, for example, if one of our users, which is again doing their job, is let's say targeted by a phishing campaign, he actually got phished, and he will try to do some actions that he never did before. We can stick to the same example. He will go to salesforce.com, download the database of customers, copy that to, USB drive. Probably is not that related to a phishing, but tries to upload that on a particular website or send an email to a competitor or whatever. So these changes in behavior can be monitored, can be seen actually, and can actually be protected without, again, frustrating users and so on. And another thing about these one-to-many policies is also about administrators. You have administrators for firewalls, infrastructure, security, and so on. If you have something like this, and if, again, you'll create friction for some of the users, and probably some of the users will find loopholes, there will be lots and lots of alerts. Lots and lots of alerts that at some point, whether we like it or not, an administrator should handle and should respond to those alerts. If you overwhelm that administrator, probably without the company knowledge and so on, they will turn off that policy, they will be happy doing their job, but then you open, let's say, a security door for attackers or even insiders. So the question is, talking about everything like, infrastructure, cloud, supply chain, and so on, what do you think is the best way to protect something, your environment, which basically you don't have that much of control over it? Again, look at cloud. So what would be the answer to that? You have your environment, which is, let's say, not 100% under your control, but still you want to protect your most important assets, which are? Come on. It will appear here on the slide. Humans and data. So protect your employees, look at their behavior, how they interact with your data. And based on that, you will be able to protect humans and data wherever you are in the digital transformation race. Whether you are like 100% in cloud or moving to that, to different hybrid environments, you'll be able to protect that in theory without issues. This is actually a question for you. It's not necessary. I'm not expecting a response right now. This is from Gartner. It's not that clear here on the left. So this comes from Gartner and is basically talking about digital transformation race journey and where do you think you are right now. If you think that you are still in the infrastructure centric or, information centric, if you are in the information centric, it is okay, but you have to do lots more. If you are in the industry leading 13%, thumbs up, but it's hard to go there. So if you want to be industry leading in this space, You have to be cloud first. You have to be software as a service first. You have to enable bring your own device support. Again, protecting your most valuable assets, humans and data. Now, these are some key security strategies, examples, to be honest, high-level examples for this era of digital transformation. You can identify some of them. We can help you identify some of the security categories. Also, we have listed here basically the point of contacts that we can go in and talk with them about different strategies. And here are there actually some example security initiatives based again on these like pillars. So we have cloud adoption and network user security, critical data and IP, and workforce and supply chain protection. Now, don't get me wrong, Forcepoint is a security company. We have products. So these are some products that we have. I mean, roughly this is our whole portfolio. It's not a big portfolio. The important part is that it's integrated, and putting together some of the solutions you can answer, or you can validate some of the security initiatives and move forward. So for example, I'm not sure if the colors are that good, but anyways, so for example, if we look at web security, you can see that web security is also part of critical data and IP protection, but also under secure cloud adoption. This means that with web security, you can have basically a balance between these two, and again, move on. You can add, of course, other products. We can also look at email security. You can see that email security goes to all these three, again, pillars, let's say. We have secure cloud adoption. I mean, if we speak about Office 365 or G Suite, you have your email in cloud. Whether you like it or not, your emails comes from the internet. So it's the emails are already out there. You also have critical data and intellectual property. I mean, again, email channel, I think, is the most used channel of transferring data and or exfiltrating data. So someone will just open an email, whether it's in browser or a client, will type a recipient, will attach a file or copy content, and it will click send. Is the most used and easiest way to do it. Also, is the most used channel for attacks, phishing attempts. I think is the easiest example. There is no malware, it's just a phishing. And also, it can go to workforce and supply chain protection. All these products are available, so there is nothing like future or something like that. Everything that you can see here is available. And also there are some interesting integration between all of, well, not all, majority of these products. So for example, when we talk about web, email, and DLP, everything is managed from the same management platform. So if you want to cover this part of web, email, and DLP and answer some of the security initiatives, you can have everything in one management point, infrastructure-wise with only one database, basically one management console, all your policies, all your reports, all of your correlations are in the same spot. And because we are talking about different solutions but managed from the same platform, of course you can have, let's say, cross reports from one solution to another, basically learning, from email perspective, learning that something happened on the DLP side, or the email that you received is actually in a category that should not be in your infrastructure, and things like that. We can talk more about that during the break, after the break, doesn't matter right now. Now, looking at all these products, probably you already have some of them. In generally speaking, I might have another question for you is like, and you don't, don't necessarily have to answer. So the first question would be, if you are happy with your products, and happy doesn't necessarily mean that, yeah, it works, because probably everybody will be happy with that. Are you happy in terms of reporting? Are you happy in terms of how your let's say deployment is going? And also, if we talk about some of the products here, do you want your existing products or your new products to do more? To do more means that you have this solution, but if tomorrow you add another solution, do you want those solutions to work together and things like that? And the third question roughly would be, how easy is for you to implement a new solution or a product, whatever, and how, I don't know, how much it will take you basically to go from one solution to another or start from scratch with any of these solutions if you don't have any. I'm asking this because, as far as understood, by the end of the year, we will launch something which is called Forcepoint Converged Security Platform. Forcepoint Converged Security Platform will be a platform which will be, as far as understood, fully cloud-based. So again, cloud first, software as a service first. That will allow you, so it will function as a marketplace that will allow you to simply pick your solutions, buy them to some extent, and start using them. Because if we're talking about digital transformation, especially cloud, and if we're talking about cloud solution, again, the products or the solutions are already out there. We just have to enable them for you, and you can start using them. It will allow to integrate third-party solutions, especially around orchestration. So it will allow you to basically, even if you have some of the solution in the idea of like email gateway, DLP, whatever, it will allow to have those solutions in the same platform, but also simply buy new products and again, basically start using them. I mean, I'm not sure if you are familiar with our web and email security products in cloud. You just receive a username and password, you just log in, and there it is. Of course, you have to do some configurations, some integrations, that's for sure, but you just have to log in and it's there. It's that easy to do it in cloud. Now, well, what's the Forcepoint difference? Basically, we are the experts, we are the only one, as far as you know, in this human-centric security. Yes, there are other DLP vendors, yes, there are other UEBA vendors or behavior analytics vendors, but the integration that we have between our behavior analytics and solutions like DLP, Next Generation Firewall, CASB, and so on is really great, and it can be demonstrated at any point. We have this risk adaptive protection that we talked a bit earlier. Again, you have users, they have different behaviors, they should have their own enforcement actions, let's say. And yeah, of course, we are 100% committed to our customer success, which should be like the normal thing for every company out there. So what can you do next? So basically, we have like a really great cyber experience center in Boston. We are not based in Boston, but we have the cyber experience center in Boston. So you can go there and basically you can touch every solution, everything which is Forcepoint related. More here, like locally, we can have workshops, we can have demos, we can have proof of concepts. Everything that I mentioned here, like workshops, proof of concept, demos, usually are for free. So don't be afraid to ask for that, especially if you want to see how those solutions in cloud are looking and working. It's like even easier. I will just have to provide your username and password, and again, it's there. Again, I will still be here for roughly the rest of the day, so we can talk more about that without any issues. Of course, we are social, so you can find Forcepoint on all social media, especially on YouTube. And I'm not just saying that. There are some really great workshop-ish videos, configurations, some publicly available short trainings that can help you better understand who we are and what we do. Questions so far? The idea is that I have one short video that I want to show you, and it basically summarize the presentation that I've done here. And then you'll have my email address, and basically that's it. So hopefully if the video works with sound, I will... Oh, it doesn't have sound, but at least you can look over that. So basically that's it. I mean, you have employees, they have their devices, portable devices, bring your own devices. When talking about cloud, they will have access to your resources everywhere, at home, in your infrastructure, in a coffee shop, in vacation, whatever. They are, and they will work with your data, regardless if it's Salesforce or a database or whatever, and you have to protect that. That's the idea. And some of the keywords they say on that video were basically the keywords that you should remember. So if you don't have any questions right now, this is my email address. Regardless, I will be at the booth. I have to check out first, but I will be at the booth. So we can talk about product solutions, whatever you like. That's it. Thank you.